Hello and welcome back to another City Skylines 2 video on our save of West Goldfield. This is part 11, and off the bat we see that there are problems, but these are problems that will now be solved with time, as we have finally built our incineration plant. Things that aren't problems, but something to pay attention to is our demand. We have a ton of demand, except for offices, absolutely no drawbacks. There aren't empty buildings, or it's not just gas station demand, or specific types of industry, everything. People want to build here. Off the bat, high density, we already started developing our high density area, so we can just build the building there. Now I do want larger buildings instead of these two smaller ones, so I am just going to destroy it so it becomes a larger one. Over here, I do see that traffic is actually sort of an issue, and something that's a little, confusing to me. I don't know why I did this. I don't want to keep this a highway because it's just a little stretch. It's road, highway, instead of, and then it's surrounded by, two roads. I don't think that makes sense. But something else I do want to do, though, is add a slip lane here because I know traffic is going to become an issue, so I am just going to take this and make it a 4-lane road, or a 3-lane road. And we'll just take our 1-lane road and use it like this. Now I do need to remember to get rid of traffic lights if there are any, and try to fix the crosswalks best we can. Now there's kind of no reason for anyone to cross on this side, so I am going to get rid of that. And I hope that that is problem solved. And I think it would actually make sense to put a traffic light here. Just because I don't want, it to look pretty bad or be super confusing, I am just going to get rid of the cars parked on this side. And I am going to surround the area by trees. I believe high density is creeping up again, but we can see that there are unoccupied buildings. Something I do want to note, though, is that whenever you build high density, in turn medium density usually gets, the demand down, because they are pretty similar. And it can happen the other way around, too. When you build medium density, high density demand can go away also. Keeping that in mind, though, we saw that our unoccupied buildings went away, but apparently there's more unoccupied buildings again. And I think we can actually just check to see how true this is. I mean, this building is almost half full. But it seems like the rest of them are actually being utilized pretty much fully. So I do think that if this new building has a lot of people in it, we can build more. Something else I do want to look to is expanding over here, because traffic is backing up. And if we expand over here, that could allow us to maybe eventually build a intersection over here, and just help traffic a little more. With that said, where I would want to develop is near this little pond, I guess, because the land value is extremely high, especially because there are commercial buildings along it, along with, our very lovely services, such as our schools and hospitals. I do also want to buy this zoning tile so we can connect these two roads together. The reason I'm okay with buying another zoning tile is because it is space we are actively developing in, and we kind of have a lot more money now, so I think it's worth it. I do just want to put some homes along here, as it's near to the water, and the land value is high, which actually should give us more tax income. I will also get rid of the zoning on this side of the road because I'm not going to build any shops near the water, as I'm going to reserve that land for homes. Now I do actually want to just expand this road to be a little bit longer, just so we can maximize the space. As we can see, the zoning tiles aren't lining up, so we will just go on to just these 3 settings, and that should allow it to work perfectly. And we'll just cap it off with a cul-de-sac and start zoning. I would like to put the high density behind the medium density, as, it's taller buildings and they can see the lake if they like looking at that. So they do have a good outlook onto the actual, like, big lake. Again, I do also want to keep this area free and use it for buildings too, but an area like this, I mean, we'll have to see, because it is, like, right next to a huge highway. It's not super big, the lake, and I don't even know how it would develop over there. But we can see that there is demand for medium density too, so we can just put some medium density buildings along the lake also. And now I think we can just kick back and let time do its thing to fix our issues. That is a lot of building setup that just upgraded there. And as we look around, we can see that the trash issue is becoming solved faster and more and better. And as we can see, that the incineration plant is doing its job, processing a lot with its stored garbage, and a lot of its vehicles are in use, and it is well within our needs of our city. And I believe that, yes, the landfill has stopped emptying, so we will get rid of it now. And with this space, we can actually look into developing a few things. Factories, or really, depots for buses, whatever we need. For now, though, I am going to leave this space empty, as we can see that there is more demand. Now, if we look across the pond, we do not have a road built here yet, so we can actually build that one right now. And I just zoned a few buildings in that area too. Actually, I might make a change here though, and just get rid of this road here, and instead take the road off of here, so that there are less intersections and, in turn, hopefully less traffic. I also do just want to put a small curve on the road just so it is a little more realistic. And that I think looks better too, because we can just continue putting roads along and with cul-de-sacs at the end. Because I will eventually end up doing that, I am going to get rid of the zoning on this road along the side too. Something I want to look into, as we can see, there is just absolutely insane pedestrian traffic, which apparently is supposed to be fixed in the next update to bring performance upgrades, I believe is the reason why, but also to bring more realism. So, I think how I just said how we use this space for depots, we are going to build a bus depot. So, it does take up a decent amount of space, but I think it will be well worth it if we do it correctly. Now, I don't want to block this road from connecting up to over here eventually, so I will build it on this side and bear in mind the slope so it's not silly. Build it there, and we can see that we have 25 buses now. I don't think I'm gonna get electric buses just because it costs a lot of money, and they don't really provide a benefit. I believe the reason is so that there's less, like, air pollution. But if we look, even with all of this, like, traffic and foot traffic, the air pollution over here, like, isn't bad. Like, it says it's bad, but, like, 3, 4, okay, 23 is pretty bad. But look at how many cars there are. They're pretty much just idle. That's pretty bad, but I'm pretty sure that's from the crematorium. Yeah. But if we just look along the highway even, it's like, it's not horrible. So, and like and we can see how bad it can be. It's really not that bad over here. So we're not going to get that upgrade, and as we can see, more medium density is wanted, so we can just do that now, and let more medium density be built. And I believe we could actually get another one down too. Now I do want to maybe think about what we could put here, but we can do that while we build the buses. So I am going to put bus shelters instead of bus signs, just because they provide 4 times the comfort and there is no difference in upkeep. So when we consider where we're going to put things, I think we have to think about a few things. Where do people want to go? In this case, I think people really just want to go to the huge amount of commercial buildings there, maybe even over here, the commercial buildings here. So we might actually have buses that go from here to here, and buses that go throughout in each side of the city. So, we want to keep in mind that it should not be a circle, but kind of be a circle, if you know what I mean. Like, it should be able to flow easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So to do that, we also have to remember where our offices and where our homes. I mean, we can also see, like, public transit would fix a lot of issues, because look at this public transit. People are using taxis to get into the city. So, where are the most people? I think stopping by a park wouldn't be a bad thing either. So, putting a station there would be good, because you can serve all of these people and some of these people here. We can see that this area is growing. So, and there are schools, high schools, whatever it is, over here. So we can add another here. Now I want to keep in mind that that building is getting destroyed depending on where we place it, so we'll place it there. There is again, a growing area over here. So we should place one probably around here so that people can walk to it. And again, we can see that there is a huge growing area over here. Something I do want to keep in mind is, especially in the future, we should have put paths that connect these areas, and maybe we could actually do that now, but instead with parks. I don't love breaking down buildings that we already built, but you can see that there is a lack of entertainment because lack of parks. So I do want to minimize the amount of buildings that get broken, while still providing functionality. So the first place I think we could build a park would be right. Well, that's a little close to the edge. So the first place you could build a park is here, and follow it up with a park here, so that people can cross all the way back. I believe we could place a park here, and another one here, and I think that should be pretty much good. So now we can actually run the buses along here so that people can get to offices and to commercial zones, and additionally to get to parks that we just built. So now we can build a bus station along this park and near this park. Keeping in mind that, again, this is a developing area, I think it would make sense to have a bus station near this park, and there's going to be a ton of people over here eventually, and maybe even over here. So I think if we place a bus station there, that should be good. Now we can just connect it up using, well, the bus line tool, and we can just click on each one we want. When I do public transit, I think that it is a part of the city that is actually beneficial to the city. Now, free services, I don't necessarily think they make sense, just because why are you giving it away free if it benefits the people? But this is actually a system that benefits both the city and the people. It helps traffic, which is an essential part of a city, and it allows people to get places they need to go, and it benefits them. Maybe they won't need cars, maybe they won't need a few things. Now, usually I like to slam down the assigned vehicles just because I usually disagree, but I might actually increase it to 5 vehicles just because of how many people are walking. I do like to also change the color usually, and I do like clean white buses, but I also like the orange because I think it just looks nice. Now, the not harder thing to do, but what we need to think about is how are we going to go about handling going from here to here. I think that it would make sense to almost like in the center of the city have a area that transfers people. Not necessarily here because I'm not sure if this area is well developed enough, but definitely here I think it would make sense to put a small bus station. I will have to figure out where to put it, and I think right here would make sense, and we can't build other bus stations, which makes a ton of sense, but we'll have to see. Once we have the money, we'll build it. And now I just want to check to see how many people are actually using this in the short time it's been around. There are actually a few people waiting at each stop, which is pretty important. And there's also demand creeping up, I'm seeing, so we can also just build some homes. Oh, whoa, 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 absolutely not. You need to take up the whole area. No, what is this? Okay, I see the issue. Because we're allowing people to zone there. Yeah, that was a part of that zoning, and that's not gonna harm that. Yeah, okay. Now we can just fix that, and that should be a bigger building. Nice. Demand is still there, so I don't want to get rid of this, like, people can't build here. So I will bring it back. I do actually want to maybe build a park here. And if we look at our parks, a large plaza won't fit, a multi-purpose won't fit. I think we'll have to actually build a small park, just because the lake is in the way. Not that that's a bad thing. Now, I couldn't build a super big park, and I didn't want this to be directly in these people's backyards, as I want to build a few trees along here eventually. But over here, you can see that medium density demand is climbing, and we need to, you know, have buildings, so we are going to just build it along here. Now, I did see that these two are smaller buildings, and we are going to fix that. And again, I do just want to check on the public transit to see if it's working. And, seems like it is. Now, I'm not sure. Oh, yes. So the buses all have to actually arrive from the depot, which is going to take a minute, but once they do, it's going to be very lovely. And over here, we know that traffic is forever an issue. But with buses, especially in this area, I think it's going to be tricky because we can see all the people live here pretty much with, like, very few over here. So I think that it would make sense to have, like, maybe one stop here with, like, more stops throughout here. And of course, people want to go here into the industrial zone and over here too, because there's a pretty big amount of people that live there. So I think that the solution to this is going to be building our bus station. And the first thing I want to do immediately, because it takes like no time, is just connect it up to a important area, which I think would be here, because it allows you to go to the central, like, commercial area, and then just complete the route. And of course, like I said, I do think keeping buses cheaper is an important thing, and I do think that we don't need that many vehicles. 3 should be plenty. Again, I'm going to change the color. I think this time we'll go with yellow. And over here, for bus, I think that it would make sense to divide it into 2. I think that it should be something like all the buildings over here in the commercial zone, and then, well, actually, I think I might move this. I'm going to move this over here. I think it should be all the buildings in the commercial zone connect up to here, and then just a few throughout the area here. And then if you work over here, you can take another bus and it'll bring you between these areas. So as far as we're going to lay it out, we do want it to go following over here. It'll turn probably in here. So I think a bus station, right, a bus stop would probably be best around here, with another one here. Probably like another stop here, a stop here, let's see. A central area would probably be here, because again, I'm gonna build more buildings this area. I think that getting one around here, because there's a lot of low density, and probably just finish it off with one here should be sufficient. Now we can just make the line. again, we'll lower the amount of vehicles. Actually, I think 4 should be good. And we'll make the tickets free. And we will also change the color. I think this one will be nice with red. We're gonna change the color of these buses too. Why are they? Yeah, we'll make them look bright. Yeah. And I think that now we have to finish off the other areas. Now I also see that station services are a thing, which actually increases the comfort of this area, which means more people will use it. So I am just gonna spend a little bit of money to get some of these here. And now we can see the comfort is 80, meaning more people will use this. And again, we do have to finish our area for the offices and industrial over here. So I think that if we're considering where they go, it could turn out right here. And I think that having a station there, and I think we'll put the station here, and we can move this one probably here. And then we'll bring it right back, and we can take, I feel like it's going to expand the industrial zone over here. So we can take a building, or not a building, a stop there, and probably put a stop here, a stop, oh wait, for now I think we'll just put a stop along here, and a stop here, and also put in here a little over here, and then it should turn back in. And now I'll just complete the line. And again, we can lower the vehicles a little bit and make it free. And this one I think will actually leave blue. And once again, we can see demand climbing. And something else I want to note is that bus stops actually increase land value too, I believe. As we can see where there are, do they not? I really thought they did. Oh, interesting. I could have sworn they did, but that's okay. But nonetheless, we still have demand for all types of living areas, and we can just build them in. And that is our demand fixed, and I do just want to check up on our schools to see that there's capacity. And I can see that the high school capacity is running out. I do think that a solution to this might actually be to just like increase the education budget. I like to do this in all of my cities because it makes more people go to school, and it, I believe, also increases not necessarily capacity, but the time to graduate and reduces the dropout rate. Let's see if there's any other services that I like to increase. Electricity, I usually leave. Water, actually, now that our garbage is working, we can actually lower the water budget again. So water can go back down to like that much. And we can see that we actually make a small profit from that. Healthcare and death care, I do like to keep up a little bit. Garbage management can go back down. And education research we just fixed. I do like to increase police budget by a little bit, but as you can see, giving them budget doesn't actually correlate to better efficiency, because we can see at 104 it gives it 4%, which is fair, but at 106 it gives it 5, 110, 8, 116, 12. So I usually leave it at like 104% usually. Transportation, I don't think it really matters. Like, it doesn't make the vehicles go faster. I don't think it gives vehicles. I think it does actually get vehicles out of maintenance, as we saw with our cemetery in the past, that we didn't have vehicles. Parks and recreation, I actually think makes sense to put higher. Communications, now that we have budget, we can actually increase again. Which, speaking of, we need to add more land mailboxes to the places we just added. As we can see, the mail service isn't looking great. And I think a mailbox is there. A good one there. And here. I think we can put one here, here, and that should be good, I think. Now, also, I do want to keep in mind, we can still build more buildings here, which I will actually do now that we built a bus stop. Now, the gradient, especially in the middle of these homes, isn't that great, but over here, I think it's an acceptable amount, to the point where we can just leave it. But demand has gone away, and actually got replaced with high density, which I'm surprised about. But we will definitely take advantage of that and build a high density building right there. And again, I think that time is going to be the solution for a lot of things, and we will, after that, check up on how well our public transit is doing. Medium density demand is back, and we have a lot of space for it too now. That is a few buildings zoned up. Now, right here, we can check and see that this bus line doesn't seem to be getting used a ton, so I will actually lower its assigned vehicles to just be 3. If we check bus line 3, we can see that it is going to be needed a lot. And there's still a ton of traffic, which I'm hoping that once these buses get moving and working, it'll go away. But I think it might actually make sense to, while that's happening, give it 5 buses. Bus line 2, it's actually getting a, holy moly, it's actually getting a fair amount of use, I see. That brings us, and also, like, people waiting here, these buses are pretty full, and they are 100% going to be full once these people get on board, so we can actually increase that to 4 buses, I think. That brings us over here to bus line 1, which, holy mackerel, that is a lot of use. We are definitely going to increase the amount of buses to, I think, 7. And if we look around, I think immediately we can see there is much less pedestrian traffic, which is a very good thing. There are a lot of people walking on this road, and I, for one, think that they should have sidewalks. So let's give them some sidewalks. Traffic is looking pretty bad over here, but I'm just gonna assume that's because people are moving in. I really hope that's the reason anyways. Now, we do have more money, and I think that we should actually just use it to pay back our loans. But I mean, we got a lot done, and I think that we can actually end the video here.